Hello survivors and welcome to another video. In today's video we are going to be playing one of the developers' favorite builds in the game, and that requires us to play on the assassin. Now the developer's favorite build is using the backstab skills. So in today's video we're going to be using three of them. It's going to be twin daggers, backstab, as well as sinister strike. Now what I mean by backstab is I actually mean the skills that do more damage when you're hitting an enemy from behind. So that's going to require us to grab ourselves a smoke bomb, and then we're also going to grab ourselves avalanche just to apply extra status effects, but also give us the extra bomb tag, so we are able to grab multicast, area of effect, and other things suited for our smoke bomb as well. So let's try and see if we can hit all of the necessary skills, otherwise we're going to be in a little bit of trouble. Also, as you can see, it does feel like, wow, this is quite decent. We are dealing damage. We do deal quite a bit of damage in the beginning of the game, but you'll notice as soon as we get to the first or second boss fights, things do change. It is very, very temperamental. It depends which boss fights we land up getting, because some of them go a lot better than others. I think the worst one for us is actually the ice and fire boss, just because they put down a lot, well, the ice fire and Lexi the plague bearer, because they put down a lot of area of effect. They do have a lot of skills that kind of make you have to move around a lot far away from them, like the fire guy, or the fire boss, using his flamethrower skill, making us have to kind of run around and try and stay safe. So we're going to take Eviscerate over here in the beginning, but we will probably land up getting rid of it. The only reason I wouldn't take Eviscerate is because it gets rid of all our stacks, although we don't actually need stacking. So we could use Eviscerate. It is very, very strong. We'll see how it goes. Either Eviscerate or Sinister Strike, both can be very, very good here. So grab ourselves Bloodlust. We're going to grab one touch of ice just so we get the chance to get hypothermia, but we will have a higher chance of getting it anyway because we are running avalanche. Multicast there. Here is the main attraction, smoke bomb, and now we need to try and get as much area of effect for smoke bomb, because as you can see, its starting area is really, really small, and that's going to put us in a really bad place when it comes with the bosses. So we need to try and cut bosses into the small circle, and it's just not going to work for us. So we need multicast, and we need area of effect. So let's see if we can get that. Unfortunately for us, we haven't seen avalanche, so a good substitute for it is going to be blade storm. It's just because of the number of hits that it can apply, and then also the damage it deals is pretty decent, but we will replace it as soon as we get the right skills and go from there. Nothing over there. Multicast for frontal, that's fantastic. We can actually banish block and armor, we don't need them this round, and nothing from that one. We do get an exposed weakness, that's going to help our Eviscerate deal a whack ton more damage, and obviously get us into a spot where now we need to actually focus on crit as well. So we'll grab the common crit there, get rid of Leviathan. We don't need the next Swift, although it is fantastic to grab. We're not going to be grabbing it, and instead of, actually I want Rupture as well. So we're going to grab Avalanche here instead of Blade Storm, and instead of the Bloodlust I am going to actually take Rupture. Having that stun on the enemies is just fantastic. It is a huge lifesaver at times. Knocking down the Void Hunters can be the difference between them using some skill that can kill you and then them just being knocked down and not doing anything to us. So we don't really need the Bloodlust too badly. We will replace that with our Rupture. So this is what we're going to be looking at in terms of skills. and we can go from there. So it's also why in the beginning I didn't really say, oh, this is what we're definitely getting, because sometimes it's difficult to get the exact thing that you're looking for, and then you got to kind of work around it and go for other things. So there are multiple different things you can go for. If you don't have Avalanche, then Blade Storm's going to be really good because of lasting. If you don't have well, you need to have Smoke Bomb for this to work, so you kind of got to get your prestige up on your assassin to unlock your Smoke Bomb. But otherwise, like Eviscerate, if you don't want to Eviscerate, you can go for Bloodlust. Sinister Strike is also very strong because of what it does, but otherwise, you know, the rest of them are all backstab skills and things that work with that. So Eviscerate, we didn't look at what it does, but what happens is it is a bleed stacking or annihilation skill, so it deals damage if you're behind the target, and then 80 damage per stack of bleed, and then it removes all the hemorrhage stacks and bleed stacks from the enemy once it has that effect go off. So it's very strong and deals a lot of damage, but it requires you to backstab the bosses. So first things first, as you can see, we've already lost half of our life from the very first boss fight, and that's just because of the extreme amount of damage that stupid boss does. He's so irritating. His chaos bombs just deal so much damage to us, but as you can see, we have huge amounts of damage ourselves as soon as something is in the smoke bomb. But another thing you can see is we took so much damage, and that's because the assassin doesn't really have a lot of defenses, and he does require you to be quite close to enemies and the bosses to kind of deal damage to them. So that's why we are trying to rush ourselves some area of effect, and the more area we get, the better it is going to be for us. Over here, we're going to grab ourselves Fragility. We're not really worried about the damage of Avalanche. We are worried about things like cast frequency, crit, and stuff like that for Smoke Bomb, and then the cast frequency for our other skills. So we got to try and get that. Multicast on Smoke Bomb is actually fantastic to grab as well, and that's going to help us put down a lot more of the smoke bombs, and then we've also got a lot more slow and distraction from that as well. So although smoke bomb doesn't deal damage, having it you know, distract enemies, meaning that they can miss, and then also making it that anything that is inside the smoke bomb is considered taking damage as a backstab. So as long as they're standing in the smoke bomb, every attack is considered an attack from behind, and that's what makes this really strong. Having that ×5 damage done with our twin dagger is just so strong, and I can see why this is a favorite, or one of the favorite skills of the developers. So I've actually got 3 different builds. This was one of them, although the exact build was never told to me, just the idea of the build. But you know, we can kind of go off of that anyway on our own tangent and build it how we see fit. So that's really cool as well. Over here, we're going to lock that. Yeah, it doesn't really matter which one we went for. We can actually get Brutal Strike as well, so we're going to do that as well. That's going to be fantastic for us to grab. Now we have to run around. Like I mentioned in the beginning, the flamethrower boss really irritating as well, because again, we have to kind of cart around him when he's using his flamethrower, and we can't get in close. And getting in close is the best thing for us, because we want to just deal the most amount of damage as quickly as possible to kill the bosses as quickly as possible. So we, as you can see, once you get to a certain point, you are able to kill them with relative ease. You just got to kind of risk your life while doing it. So you have to weave in and out, play with the 5 Ds of dodgeball, and duck, dive, and dodge as much as possible to get this all done. Hopefully we can do this without dying even once. That would be great. Normally we corner, but with the assassin and the kind of playstyle we need, I don't believe cornering is very clever here, especially since we don't have a passive or a lot of defenses. cornering will be a very bad idea in terms of damaging the enemy and working around it. It's just really difficult as it is. This build is really difficult to play, so for us to sit here in the corner, dodge all of these red circles and all of the enemies, especially when the bosses spawn like our flame boss and the chaos boss, it's just really difficult to stay in the corner, so don't really worry about that for this build. Most important thing is area of effect, multicast, and I guess crit in our case, because we did pick up a brutal strike. A juicy epic relentless, that's going to work wonders. Cast frequency, we're going to grab an area of effect for everything. We can actually lock this even and do that works as well. But if you don't have any locks available and you're in that circumstance, the expansive, the 10% for every skill is 100 times better, because all the skills of the assassin are short ranged, so getting 10% for all of them instead of just 20% for one skill is a lot better. But because we had a lock over there, we could get both of them and be in an even better place. But here we've got terrible bosses that we need to kill. There goes the Lexi's Chaos Bombs. I'm not Lexi, the Chaos Bringers bombs. Terrible little bomb over there. Okay, we killed him just before he started spinning. There is Laugh over here. Great, that gets rid of the red, or a lot of the red on the screen, because the lower the Laugh, there's an indicator on the edges of the screen to show that you're low Laugh, just in case you never knew that, or you've never stayed, dead long enough. I think over here we're going to go for the cast frequency instead of the area of effect, and grab some multicast over there. It could be that 4% could be the difference between us getting 3 or getting 2 smoke bombs down per cast, and that's just going to make it a lot easier if we have more of them down to hit things, because they kind of spread out. You do need to kind of focus on where you're putting them, because they do go to your cursor and then go from there. And we've also got an evil paladin over there, an unholy knight, trying to kill us over there. That's not a very paladin thing to do, trying to kill us. Here we are trying to save the world from goblins, and this paladin turns evil. He's like, no, goblins are our friends, and then he tries to kill us. So we needed to unfortunately make the world a more holy place and get rid of the scum known as the paladin. Okay, movement speed, that's great, helps us dodge all the area of effect skills. I would like to get more Laugh, but I don't think that's going to happen right now. We do have another Fallen Knight using his spinny attack, so we kind of got to stay away. Okay, we do have 2 Plague Bearers. That is quite irritating, because we are low Laugh, which means as soon as they put down some poison, we will die just like that. So we had to run through poison. We were really low Laugh, and unfortunately we stood in something and that caused us to die. So unfortunately it is what it is. There wasn't much we could do over there. In that case, losing 1 Laugh isn't the end of the world. But as you can see, we're already on an 11-minute time. It's just really difficult to get a really good time with this build. But if you did go into, I'd say, Overlord cycles, or maybe some of the Endless cycles, this could become really insanely strong, especially if you do get that huge amount of cast frequency and area of effect like you do on all of the other skills. But let's finish this up. We'll take a detailed look at the skills. I'm not sure what everyone looks at when they look at the detailed skills, but I'll show it for everyone, obviously, because that's just something everyone likes to look at, and then we can see which skill. I'm sure Twin Blade is going to be the most dealt damage skill over here, or Eviscerate will be. It just depends on what the area of effect and cast frequency of them was. But we can see where we go from both of those. quickly kill all of these. Hopefully the bosses will spawn. You can see again, we're still taking so much damage. And playing on the assassin leads me to believe that the passive that we're going to get for him, you know, because the developer likes backstabbing, hopefully the passive he gets will be something either to do with stealth or to deal with backstabbing. It would be really cool if his passive had to deal with, like, you go into the shadows and all of your skills are backstab now or something like that. That would be really, really strong and really cool to see. Or if they're just something that's going to just help him with his skill set and being a melee character and going from there. So it's interesting to see where this is going to go. We just got to kind of wait for that to happen. I'm sure the update will come in time. Can't really give you know, a week or, you know, a month. It could be any time, and hopefully we can finish this. We do have 14 life left. There is so much on the floor in terms of negative effects that we don't really want to stand in, but that was because of a void hunter, and we managed to do it. It did take us 13 minutes though, which is a really slow time, but it was a fast enough time to get into Overlord and Endless. So let's take a look at the detailed screen. There we go, Eviscerate and Backstab dealing the most amount of damage. There's the detailed screen. And the runes, we did go for Critical Mastery, Adrenaline, Unexpected Arsenal, Weapon Expert, and Multicast Mastery. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And always remember, keep safe, survivors. Until next time, cheers.